Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute high stakes of electrical maintenance. If you manage, maintain, or even just work around heavy electrical equipment, like in an industrial facility, a power plant, or a data center, you already know that keeping operations running safely isn't just about what you can see. Honestly, it's very much about what you can't see.
So let's start right off the bat with a serious question. Why do massive industrial motors and thick power cables just suddenly fail without any obvious warning? Everything looks perfectly fine on the outside, and then, bam, the whole system goes down. Well, the answer usually lies in an invisible threat: insulation breakdown. It's quiet, it's hidden right beneath the surface, and it can bring an entire facility to a grinding halt, costing tens of thousands of dollars in a matter of minutes.
Okay, let's dive right into this. To combat this invisible threat, engineers and technicians rely on what's widely known as a Megger test, or, if we're being formal, an insulation resistance test. Basically, this is a dedicated, non-destructive electrical test used to measure the overall health of the insulation surrounding your wires, motors, transformers, and switchgear. We measure this insulation health in units called megaohms or gigaohms. The simple, golden rule you need to remember here is, a higher resistance number indicates healthier, stronger equipment. To give you a complete understanding of this critical procedure, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the insulation resistance threat. Second, how the Megger works. Third, equipment and safety first. Fourth, the Megger test procedure. And finally, interpreting results and advantages. All right, Section 1, the insulation resistance threat. Failing insulation isn't just a minor inconvenience, right? It leads to devastating, real-world consequences, like electrical fires, severe shocks to your personnel, dangerous short circuits, and massive unplanned downtime. So what's actually breaking down the insulation in the first place? Well, you've got these 6 silent enemies constantly attacking your equipment: moisture creeping into the system, dirt and physical contamination, the natural aging process over years of use, extreme operating heat, mechanical damage from vibrations, and exposure to harsh chemicals. Your equipment is literally under non-stop assault from these factors every single day, which is exactly why measuring its resistance matters so incredibly much.
Let's move on to Section 2, how the Megger works.
So how do we actually detect these invisible threats before the equipment catches fire? And this brilliantly illustrates the science behind the tool. Good old Ohm's law. Resistance equals voltage divided by current. The Megger device works by applying a highly controlled, high DC test voltage directly to the insulation, and then it measures the incredibly small leakage current that actually manages to flow through it.
Now, if equations aren't really your thing, no worries. Just think of it using this leaky pipe analogy. Imagine voltage as the water pressure pushing through a pipe, and the insulation is the physical pipe itself. The Megger is essentially looking for tiny microscopic leaks in that pipe, what we call the electrical leakage current, to find degradation. Because that leakage should be exceptionally tiny in a healthy, sealed system, good insulation produces a very high resistance value. But if the pipe is getting weak and damaged, the leak gets bigger, and your resistance drops significantly.
So what physical tools are we using to find these leaks? Historically, you'd see the hand-cranked Megger. This was an older, manual tool where the tech generated the test voltage by physically turning a handle, kind of like an old-timey telephone. You might still see these around for training or on some legacy equipment. But today, modern facilities rely almost entirely on the digital Megger. It's fully automatic, features a clear LCD display, stores test results right in its memory for tracking your trends, and honestly offers a level of accuracy that manual cranks just cannot match. Just to quickly orient you to the physical tool itself, here are the core parts of a digital Megger. You have your main LCD display, the highly important test button to initiate the voltage, and your voltage selection switch. Over on the connection side, you've got your line terminal, your earth terminal, and on a lot of models, a guard terminal, which actually helps bypass surface leakage so you get a much more precise internal measurement. It's a straightforward but highly specialized instrument.
Which brings us to Section 3, equipment and safety first. I cannot stress this enough. When it comes to high-voltage electrical testing, safety has an absolute zero margin for error. You are dealing with lethal voltages here. So the most crucial rule is this: you must never, under any circumstances, perform a Megger test on energized equipment. You have to obtain your work permit, rigorously follow lockout-tagout procedures, isolate the equipment completely from all power sources, and physically verify there is zero voltage using an approved tester.
Plus, you absolutely must discharge any stored energy from components like capacitors and always wear your correct PPE, including insulated gloves and arc-rated clothing. Okay, once you are fully safe and the equipment is completely dead, you have to select the correct test voltage based on the equipment's rating. For standard 230 to 440 volt circuits, you use 500 volts DC. Low voltage motors under 1 kilovolt get 500 to 1000 volts. Medium voltage equipment requires 2500 volts, and high voltage equipment needs 5000 volts or even higher. You should always follow the manufacturer-specific procedures here, guys, because blasting a sensitive control circuit with 5000 volts will instantly destroy it.
Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is how we put all that theory into step-by-step practice. Section 4, the Megger Test procedure.
Taking this out onto the floor, here is exactly how a proper test is executed sequentially. Step 1, preparation. This is your load-o, verifying zero voltage, and disconnecting any sensitive electronics or surge protectors. Step 2, physically inspect the equipment for obvious moisture, carbon tracking, or loose terminals. Step 3, connect the Megger. You'll typically do a phase-to-earth test to check insulation to ground, or a phase-to-phase test to check between conductors. Step 4, select your correct voltage. Step 5, perform the test. You press that test button and apply the voltage for approximately 1 solid minute. That duration is absolutely critical to get a stable, accurate reading. And finally, Step 6, discharge safely. The equipment essentially acts like a giant capacitor during the test holding charge, so you absolutely must allow it to discharge safely before you touch those conductors again.
Moving into our final phase, Section 5, interpreting results and advantages.
So, you've safely run the procedure, and now you're staring at a resistance number on the screen. Translating that data is actually pretty straightforward. If your insulation resistance reading is greater than 100 megaohms, the general condition of your equipment is considered excellent. Between 10 and 100 megaohms, that's still good. If you drop into the 1 to 10 megaohm range, it might be acceptable for some older equipment, but you definitely need to start investigating your data trends and checking the manufacturer limits. But if your reading falls below 1 megaohm, that is categorically poor. You need to pull out equipment, inspect it, and repair it before returning it to service. Just remember that extreme temperature, heavy dust, and humidity can artificially push these numbers down, so try to test in clean, dry conditions whenever you can. Now, if you do hit that scary sub-1 megaohm reading, these are the common physical culprits you'll be urgently looking for. Wet windings inside your motors, physically cracked insulation, carbon tracking which creates a sneaky path for electricity to escape, damaged cables from mechanical stress, loose terminals, oil leakage degrading the materials, or evidence of severe overheating. One of the limitations of the Megger is that it won't draw you a map to the exact fault location, but it definitively tells you that one of these physical problems is present. And that leads directly into why we even bother doing this. When performed correctly, this simple, non-destructive test offers immense advantages. It detects insulation problems incredibly early. This proactive approach prevents sudden electrical failures and dangerous shocks to your staff. It undeniably extends the life of your expensive capital equipment, drastically reduces reactive maintenance costs, and fundamentally improves the overall reliability of your entire plant. It's a real game changer. Let's leave it on this final provocative thought. Is your current preventative maintenance program actually catching these invisible threats before they cause a catastrophic shutdown? Because if you aren't recording every test result and tracking those insulation resistance trends over time, you are leaving your facility wide open to the quietest yet most destructive forces in electrical engineering. Implement the test, track your data, and stay ahead of the failure. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and please, stay safe out there.
Need to check insulation health? Use a Megger for an insulation resistance test. Disconnect power, connect the test leads, and press the test button to measure insulation resistance. High resistance